Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to my new moon in Aries donation-based workshop. We're also going to be talking about the solar eclipse and the Mercury retrograde that are happening all in the same week, because this definitely influences what we should be doing and how we should utilize this energy. If you have not made a donation yet, you can follow the link to go make one. It's pay whatever you can and take whenever you can. So if you can't finish this video today, come back to it whenever you want to. It'll still be up. This energy is going to be with us for a while, especially because the retrograde is starting on the 21st and it's going to be going for the next 4 weeks. Also, if you feel inclined to make a donation at the end of this workshop, you can also do that. I set the intention for this to come back to you infinitely, and I appreciate each and every donation that you guys make. And I post this in order to be more accessible to everyone and to offer more things. So know that this is very fulfilling for me, and I appreciate doing this so much. So I want to start by saying, don't be afraid. This energy feels really intense, and I think it feels really intimidating because we have this new moon in Aries, fiery sign of Aries, the beginning of the zodiac, fresh, new, trailblazer, eager energy, right? And it's a new moon. We also have the solar eclipse that's happening in Aries as well within the same 24 hours. And then we have Mercury Retrograde, which we're already in the pre-shadow period, and it's going to be happening on the 21st, so like 2 days after this new moon. So don't be afraid. I know that there's a lot of intensity. I mean, take it seriously, but don't be afraid. So this new moon is going to be taking place on the 19th, again in Aries. The solar eclipse is going to be happening in the same 24 hours, and the Mercury retrograde is going to be starting on the 21st, and that's going to be in Taurus. So I want to talk about this a little bit because right now the energy feels like we want to speed up, we want to chase after those goals, we want to get those things done, and I get the feeling that we kind of feel like we're a little bit behind. So there's this energy of like, I got to get there, I got to do this, I'm not there yet, why am I behind? But this retrograde is really going to ask us to slow down. So as much as we might be eager, as much as we might be feeling like we need to go get things done, we actually are being called to rest. And that's going to feel like this tug of war on the inside for some of us. So for some of us, I feel like we're going to be resisting this energy a little bit, especially because this new moon, especially because it's in Aries and the solar eclipse, I feel like there's this fire under our butts right now that's like, get things done, get motivated, do things. Like, we have the ambition, but it's not necessarily going to be the exact time we should do it, okay? This is also a good time to mention that this isn't really the best time to be manifesting really intensely, okay? If you're taking this before the new moon comes into effect, you can manifest a little bit. And I'm not saying don't manifest at all. I'm just saying like that intense manifestation where we're like visualizing, we're writing, and blah, all these things. It's not the time for that. The energy doesn't really support it. So it's not to say that we're not going to think about where we want to go or think about our manifestations, but we got to let them go a little bit. So we're going to go over that in this workshop as well, intentionally visualizing and envisioning what it is that we want, but also letting it go to the universe and trusting the universe to take us where it needs us to be, you know, basically saying, all right, here's the destination I want to get to, and being like, universe, you are the GPS, you're driving. You get to choose the route, you get to choose how we get there. So some of the energy and like kind of symptoms that I've been observing and tapping into with this energy of this new moon, of this solar eclipse, of this Mercury retrograde is like these bursts of energy where we're like, really, really fiery and ready to get things done, and then bursts of extreme exhaustion. So totally burnt out or like totally on fire. And like I said, it kind of feels like this back and forth of being like really confused energetically, of like feeling like we're gonna, like maybe one day you're like, all right, I feel ambitious, I'm gonna make a plan for tomorrow, I've got lists ready to go, I've got every, a plan of how I'm going to attack my day, and then that day comes and your energy is completely different and you're exhausted. We need to honor that. So I definitely kind of advise, as we get into this energy, as we get into this time, and as we continue, because we're going to be carrying some of this energy through the retrograde, to be aware of that. Be aware of like, not every day is going to feel like we're super productive and on fire. So be a little bit more in flux with the way that things are going to be moving. Try to be a little bit adaptable, try to work with it versus against it, and just understand that. This makes a lot of sense to me as well when we talk about the Mercury retrograde, because the way that I like to think about Mercury retrogrades, is anticipating inconvenience anticipating things taking longer. So take your time when you need to go somewhere. Give yourself extra time. Be patient with others. Know that it may take people longer to get things done or to get back to you. Communicate clearly, but also like, manage your expectations as far as like how others are going to be communicating to you. Not everybody's going to be able to articulate things perfectly during this time. So just going into it with this awareness and not fear. So to be afraid that there's going to be all this influence and it's going to be like scary and like hard to control, because it's not. It's really just about understanding that there may be some inconveniences during this time. So give yourself more time to get places, have a little more patience with others, make sure that you communicate to the best of your ability, maybe even overly communicate, in some situations, just to be extra clear about what's coming up. Another thing that we may be feeling with this energy is like really wanting to clean and organize, but not just like make things clean, like get rid of stuff. I feel like we have this urge to make space. So whether we're making space, you could be making space in your physical world by getting rid of things and creating space in your emotional world. So I want you to understand that it doesn't always, like you could be creating space in one way and that space is going to be filled in a different way. So if you're letting go of things you don't need anymore, or you're letting go of people you don't need anymore, or habits you don't need anymore, whatever you're letting go of, know that you're creating space for things that are more aligned for you, not just in the same form, in many forms. But definitely make space right now. If you feel inclined to get rid of things or people or whatever habits, that are holding you back. But especially like physical things and even just cleaning, if you feel the urge to do it, because this is the time where we're making that space for all the stuff that we're trying to call in, right? It's not the time for us to be like, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. This is the time to be like, let me make room for all the stuff that I've already declared. Let me do my part of it so that the universe can show up for me. You may also be experiencing vivid dreams. These vivid dreams could have intense meaning, but they also could feel like there wasn't a big purpose behind it. So the intensity could vary as far as like the purpose of this dream, but very vivid nonetheless. If you are a dreamer, definitely start taking notes of your dreams, record your dreams. Like I said, sometimes it's going to be very obvious what they mean, sometimes it's not. But if you keep a record of your dreams, you can start to notice patterns and just understand them better, as well as just remembering all the details. For me, I have a notes folder in my phone with all of my dreams recorded. And the reason that I do that, even though I don't really like writing things in my phone, I'm a very much like pen and paper kind of girl. But I like having it in my phone so that like as soon as I wake up, I can just put it in there. Because if I don't write it down as soon as I wake up, I might forget. And I don't always have a journal with me when I'm sleeping. If I was a little bit more organized in that way, to have like a dream journal like under my pillow or something like that, that would be great. I haven't really incorporated that into my routine. And when I did, I wasn't as consistent because sometimes I would forget. So find a way to record your dreams consistently. Now's a good time to really pick up that practice, especially with these vivid dreams. So again, just to like recap with all of this energy, we have a new moon. New moon is a good time to plant seeds. New moon is a good time to set intentions, right? This isn't the best for manifesting because we have the solar eclipse as well. And when the eclipse happens, it's like the sun and the moon crossing paths, which is really intense as it is, the divine feminine, the divine masculine, and you've got this energy, crossing one another. And that happening, at the same time as a new moon. There's a lot happening. And then we have Mercury Retrograde. And it's also in the sign of Aries, which is the beginning of the zodiac and just fiery and ready to go, because it's youthful and it's excited and it's just getting started. So with all of that, just remember that it's not the best time to really push your manifestations. It's not the best time to push anything. So if something's not really working, if something's not really flowing, don't push. Really surrender, okay? So find ways to listen a little bit more. That goes for every area of your life. If you're finding, you're having understandings with other people, or if you're pushing hard and something's not working, just take a step back. Take a step back out of the, active energy and step into the energy of receiving. What can I learn here? What am I not hearing? What can I do to really participate and be present with this without trying to force something to happen? So if you do not already have a pen and paper, please go get one. You can pause this and go get it. I'm gonna need you to write these things down. I want you to get in touch with it. I prefer to write this down on a piece of paper that I can destroy after. So if you have the ability to do so, I would really suggest it, because destroying it afterwards is a really good symbolic way of like releasing. Releasing is always important. So if you don't have it, pause this, come back. If you do, let's get into it. So these are going to be your journal prompts for this workshop. These questions to ask yourself. Take the time now. You can pause for each question and really dive into it. That is how I would recommend going about this. So that way you can be like super present with everything. And that way you don't have to like remind yourself to get back to it later. So pause after each question and really sit with it as long as you feel like you need to, until you feel like you're done answering. So the first question is going to be, where am I gripping too tightly? Okay, where am I gripping too tightly in my life? It could be your business, it could be a relationship, it could be, your goals, your dreams, it could be, maybe it's your money world, maybe it's a person, whatever it is, just ask yourself, what am I gripping too tightly on, right? And this is also, where am I pushing too hard? If it comes to a particular goal or outcome and it's like not quite happening and you're just finding yourself pushing and pushing and pushing, let's reflect for a minute and see, where am I gripping too tightly in my life? Or you can also rephrase this question and ask yourself, where can I release control in my life? Or where can I release my grip in my life, So ask yourself that question, because this is a really good time to figure out where we've been pushing too hard and where we can actually let up a little bit. So bringing awareness into how we can work with this energy of where we're gripping too tightly and where we can release the grip a bit. The next question is, where can I get rid of things, or what can I get rid of or let go of to make space? So what can I get rid of or let go of to make space? So this is just bringing awareness into parts of our lives, our habits, people, anything. What areas of our life can we make space? Your physical reality too, go room by room, is there clutter in a closet? Does your car need to be cleaned out? Do you need to clean out your purse? My mom's best friend used to always tell her, your purse is a reflection of how you're actually doing. So and this was back when people carried like bigger purses, but I always thought it was kind of funny because it's true. Like when your purse is a mess or your like wallet is a mess, usually your life is kind of a little bit of a mess. So where can you make space? Does your purse need to be cleaned out? Does your car need to be cleaned out? Does your room need to be cleaned out? Your desk, your refrigerator, like anything. Where do you need to make space? Also tap into your emotional world. Do I need to make space in my heart? Do I need to make space in my mind? So really dive into that question. Again, pause it, sit with it, reflect, and also don't judge it. Like let these things come up naturally, because your intuition will tell you what the answer to these questions are without you having to think too far into your thinking mind. So don't judge it. The next question is going to be, what are 3 things I can do to slow down and tune in regularly? So again, with this energy of like needing to slow down, not pushing, really just sitting with things, listening more, this is a really good time to ask yourself, how can I slow down and tune in more frequently? These are going to be practices that you should remember and tap into from now and this week for like the next 4 weeks. Honestly, this energy is going to be intense for a while, but what are 3 things that you can do to slow down and tune in more regularly? Ask yourself this question. This is definitely one that you should write down in another place where you can reflect on it. And not even in a sense of like, what are 3 things, but like 3 things to do regularly. Is it meditation? Is it going for walks? Is it journaling? What is it that brings you into the present moment where you can slow down and actually tune in? Maybe it's going for a drive, whatever clears your mind and gets you in this space of presence. Anything, whatever it is for you. And make sure you make more space for that over the next week, over the next 4 weeks, especially as we move through this retrograde. So I want to move into the collective reading portion of this workshop now. It's really interesting, the energy that's been coming through. I think it's going to make sense for a lot of you guys. But the first thing I want to talk about is, so I'm seeing this like being really clear on your vision, right? Being like, I know what I want, and being so like intent on it. But it's kind of like turned around right now to where I feel like there's a few things that could be happening. One, we're pushing too hard for this vision that we're not leaving enough room for trust and faith in the universe to aid us. So there's like an overactive aspect, and then there's an underactive aspect of this where you have the idea, you have the thought, but you don't believe in it yet. So this is a really good time, right? Remember how I was saying earlier about how this isn't a perfect time to manifest, right? But this is a good time to reconnect with your goals and really reevaluate the energy that you're putting into them, okay? So if you're finding yourself like overactive, like really pushing, like doing tons of manifestation, again, like really pushing for this thing to where you're not really leaving space for like the universe to even help you. If you're pushing too hard, be aware of that and bring that into balance. And if you know what you want, but you're not taking any inspired action and you're not believing in yourself and in your goals, and you're still experiencing a lot of doubt as to how or why or when, now's the time to really get in touch with that. So both things can be limiting us from these things happening and from us actually having clarity on our goals. So really, it's time to tap into that. It's not the time to like manifest new things. It's not the time to like manifest aggressively, which I don't really believe in manifesting aggressively anyway, but it's not the time for that. Now's the time to get in touch with your goals and your dreams and your manifestations. Get in touch with it and realize what kind of energy you've been meeting it with. Is it forceful? Is there a lack of interest and belief? What is it? And figure out and adjust accordingly, right? So if you are in a situation where you've been pushing really hard and working hard at it and like giving all this like excess of energy to it, how can you reel it back and put more trust in, right? Bring a practice of trust into your world where you maybe sit in presence and you focus on your intention and you say, universe, you know what I want and I trust you, and just bring presence in. Maybe you can find moments when you are pushing too aggressively and just be like, you know what, I'm gonna let this go. Maybe you had some business goals for the day of like things that you wanted to get done because in your mind that's what you needed to do to be successful. Maybe it wasn't flowing. Maybe you're tired. Maybe it's just not working out. That's the time to be like, you know what, this is a good time for me to just release control of this and just let today be today. So tap in with that. The number 11 is definitely coming through with that. Big time. These are things that want to exist. They want to exist. They want you to have them. We just have to have more faith, and then we also have to have more aligned action, depending on where you're at with this. It's about meeting in this perfect alignment of like understanding what we need to do and what we need to not do in order to get there. So I also want to talk about the energy of dragonfly, chrysanthemum flowers, fish, as well as Pisces energy here. I also have the element of air and water. That could be something you connect to. Maybe it's something you should be connecting to. Whatever that resonates with you in. Obviously, you take whatever makes sense for you in this workshop. And if it doesn't make sense, don't claim it. Don't push it. Okay, I won't push it. You don't push it. Chrysanthemums are amazing because they represent death, but like kind of in that death rebirth cycle. Then we have the energy of the dragonfly, which is like kind of similar to butterflies in a way. And to me, it kind of symbolized that like metamorphosis energy is like coming. Like I feel like sometimes the dragonfly is like the messenger of that happening. So I do feel like we're in a time of big shift with this energy of the water and the Pisces energy. I really think we're being called to flow. Being called to listen to our intuitions. I feel like our intuition is probably going to be heightened at this time, but we have to actually listen to it, right? So we got to believe it and we got to make space to listen. Those are huge messages that have been coming through with this. The next portion of this energy is like, it's interesting because I feel like there's this energy of like making so many sacrifices and doing all of this work to try to get somewhere. Almost too much so, to where I feel like we're pushing it away. So if you find that that's something that's happening in your life where you're like, I'm doing everything that I should be doing, but I'm not getting there, maybe you're doing too much. Maybe you're pushing too hard. maybe you're pushing so hard because there's some belief within you that you're not going to have it unless you do the hard work. Okay, so really checking in with that energy here, and understanding that sometimes pushing for something or working super hard for something isn't how we're actually going to obtain it. Sometimes we have to create that relationship of trust and belief before we can put in that work, you know? Is it action that I think I have to take, or is it like aligned intentional action that I feel called to, right? Like really understanding the difference of that. And I hope that I'm speaking the right language to make this make sense. But I feel like we're taking on too much, because that's like the follow-up of this. It's like making all these sacrifices and doing all this work and not really getting anywhere, you know? And then there's this energy of like, I'm carrying so many things that I can't carry anything else. Maybe we need to put some things down to make room, right? Maybe we need to make room for the things we're going to find along the way that we should be carrying with us versus the things that we shouldn't. Big, deep messages with this. Like, I also want to talk about like feeling like you're getting a lot of opportunities and not knowing what to do with them. I also feel like you're either getting a lot of opportunities and you don't really know what to do with them, or you're like not having it happen and you're like, when is it going to come? Don't stress. It's coming. There's just some things to be done first. So let's pull a few more cards just live here and see. Oh my gosh, I'm dropping them everywhere. Okay, so this is really interesting because I've been having conversations about this a lot. I do feel that some of us are really diving into and reinvestigating some of our past pain. This could be relationships. This could be different types of partnerships. This could be friendships. This could be family. It could be all of that. So if you find yourself in reflection right now of that pain, of that betrayal, it's okay. I feel like you're actually freeing yourself from that. I feel like you're actually going to be able to rise above it. And you may be wondering like why these things are coming up, because I feel like you're like, I should have been like long over this. If anything like that's coming through, just give it some space to be seen. Don't judge it. Again, making space. We are making space. And I want to talk about the eclipse energy a little bit too, because with the solar eclipse and this new moon, I feel like there's an energy of like, if you're not willing to let it go, or if you are holding on too tightly to something, I feel like this eclipse energy is going to be like literally ripping it away from you. You know, like if you have something that it's like your emotional crunch. It's like your crutch, your teddy bear as a child, and like you're an adult now, and it's the universe being like, it's time to give up the teddy bear. And you're like, no, I don't want to give up the teddy bear. Like it's a part of me. And the universe is like, too bad, snatch. And I don't mean that in like a cruel way. I just feel like kind of like we're going through an energetic earthquake. I don't know why I'm thinking about earthquakes. I hope that I'm not manifesting that, or that that's not something else that's coming through. But I see that like being shaken up and then having things resettle, right? Like sometimes we need a little shake up for things to resettle. All right, so the seeds have already been planted, right? We've already planted big seeds this year. So don't feel bad about how this new moon isn't great for manifestation, or isn't a great time. Like it's not a bad time to plant new seeds. It's just not a great time to like really push forward with them, right? You already had the seeds planted. It's time to nourish the plant. It's time to care for it. It's time to nurture it. It's not time to harvest. It's time to care for it and put your energy into it. This has been coming through so much. If you follow me in my readings, you're going to know that has been coming through so much. I feel a sense of like discouragement, you know. I feel like we're like, it's like our expectations are like almost unrealistic in a sense. Not that we shouldn't believe that things are going to be perfect, but if there's a setback, it doesn't mean that things are bad. It just means that we need to rest a little bit more right now. So don't feel so discouraged by things not being picture perfect to how you imagined them. They're perfect exactly as they are. They just may not be exactly how you imagined. I'm hesitant to even say this. I feel like there could be some like stable emotional offers for people. Be careful starting a relationship in Mercury retrograde or reconnecting during Mercury retrograde, but just, you know, see what happens with an open heart. I think there's something to learn here. So I would definitely say that this feels like learning, love, and justice. Oh my goodness. So for some of us, I do think we're going to have something beginning maybe not right now, maybe not in a few weeks, but soon. That's going to be really amazing and really stable and wonderful. So do the work you need to do on yourself now so that you can be in a really good place. Release what you need to release to make space, especially for relationships, what you're kind of calling in. Find ways to slow down and tune in. This isn't something you need to actively look for. If we're talking about love, this isn't something that you need to desperately search for or like be on a million apps or like, you don't need to do all that. It's going to come like no matter what. So you don't have to put in all that work for it to happen. I forgot to mention this earlier, but please take as many notes during this as you feel you want to, or come back to it as many times as you want. You don't need to make a donation every time you take the workshop. Just make it the first time you take the workshop. But come back to this if you need a refresher, if you want to tap into this energy again, if you want to utilize these practices, especially the meditation, the journal prompts, and the energy talk, everything basically. We are going to get into the meditation portion of this next. But if you feel inclined to come back to this, please do. This is a resource that is available to you. You know, you make one-time donation. You can take it as many times as you want. So we are going to get into the meditation portion of this now. Get into a comfortable seat. You can lie down if you have to lie down for meditation, but I don't fully recommend it so that you stay awake. We want to make sure that we are awake and aware with this. Again, you can come back to this as many times as you want. I really recommend it, especially as we're working with this energy. So this meditation, we're really going to focus on what it is that we want. We're going to focus on it, but we're going to also release control. So we're going to hand that control over and we're going to intentionally say, this is what I want. And we're going to intentionally say, I trust you to bring that to me. Okay. So this is really, really helpful we're still working with the energy of what we want. And we're still working with the energy of manifestation, but not in a way that is forceful. Okay. So get comfortable. If you work with crystals, you can grab one, you can light an incense, light a candle, do whatever you need to do. Come back to this, pause it if you need to prep yourself a little bit. And whenever you're ready, we're just going to close our eyes. Take some deep breaths and just come into this moment. Just tapping in the energy that's flowing with us and around us. Whatever is coming to mind, just, let it pass like a train. It comes through and it goes out. Not judging anything that comes to mind, not judging anything that comes through, just letting it be. And letting your breath bring you into this present moment. I want you to imagine that you are sitting in a clearing of the most lush, beautiful, tropical forest that you've ever seen. The temperature is perfect. You can feel the grass beneath you as you're sitting on it. It's comfortable, it's supportive. Be feeling just a really, really gentle breeze. Just the wind just gently kissing your cheeks. Feeling the sun coming down on your skin. Noticing all the life around you. Maybe you hear birds. Maybe you hear other types of animals. Really just letting yourself fully be immersed into this beautiful tropical landscape. Notice the trees, and all the different types of plant life, vines, the sun glistening through the leaves. Feeling the life all around you and the beautiful presence that it has. Feeling so divinely supported. That life is all around you and happening all around you. Just taking it all in. I want you to bring your focus to the base of your spine, connecting the base of your spine to the earth beneath you. Really focusing on the energy center that exists there, your root chakra. Envisioning the color red, a red orb of light, full of energy, life, vitality. And then I want you to imagine that there are roots growing from the base of your spine, from this root chakra, into this beautiful, fertile earth beneath you. Just growing deep down. And as these roots grow down, they grow bigger and stronger. And there are roots growing from the bigger roots, just extending, deepening, and expanding all the way down to the core of the earth. So taking as long as it needs, going as slow as it needs to just grow and grow and grow, getting bigger and stronger, creating this massive root system connecting you deep, deep, deep into the core of the earth. Feeling the earth beneath you, feeling your connection to the divine mother beneath you, feeling her love and support that is with you always, pulsating through the roots and back into your body, feeling the heartbeat of the earth, of the divine mother, just echoing through the roots and into your body. Feeling the heartbeat of the earth in sync with your own heartbeat. The divine mother, creator, being so held by her love. Unshakable, unshakable grounding, unshakable trust and support. And I want you to just sit with this energy for a moment of feeling so supported, so grounded, so safe. And just sit with this energy. Take it all in, the beautiful scenery around you and the connection to the earth beneath you. Breathing it all in as if you can almost taste it. Now that you feel this grounding support beneath you, I want you to bring your attention and your energy up into your heart space. Envisioning the color green, connecting with your soul, your heart, your truth, feeling infinite love, just radiating from this heart space. Safe and open heart, ready to receive and to listen. Envisioning this green just expanding and undulating all around you in your heart space. Just start to tap into this energy. Start to tap into this heart space. What is your truth? What is true for you? Really asking yourself, what is true for me? Tapping into that energy. Your soul. your heart's desires, your heart's truth, who you really, really are, and what you are destined to do, destined to be in this world. Now, still keeping this heart space alive and this root chakra alive, I want you to bring your energy up to your third eye, the space between your eyebrows. Just envisioning a violet light growing and expanding in that space. Still keeping your heart alive with the green and your root alive with the red. Incorporating this violet light in between your brows. Connecting your truth, your grounded support and connection to the Divine Mother and the earth beneath you, and your intuition, your inner eye. Start to open your inner eye at the space between the eyebrows, opening the eye, looking down the spine, looking inside, seeing clearly, knowing clearly. Now, with all of these spaces active, I want you to start to envision your highest self, your highest reality, your highest timeline. What do they look like? What are they doing? What do they feel like? Who are they? Really starting to focus in on your goals, focus in on what you want to bring into your world, holding that vision closely, amplifying it, leaning into it, just observing this reality that exists for you. Feel into it as much as you can. Sense it. What does it smell like? What does it feel like? What does it taste like? Knowing that all of this exists for you. Feeling so deeply in your heart that this is your truth. Now I want you to imagine all of this, amplify all of this. But I want you to say, either in your mind or out loud, universe, source, spirit, I know you know what is right for me. And I'm releasing control now. I'm handing all of this over to you. And I trust that you will bring it to me in perfect divine timing. And I just want you to feel the universe, feel source, feel spirit, really holding on to your vision with so much love and care, nurturing it, receiving it, trusting that you do not have to carry this anymore. It already exists. Universe, source, spirit will deliver it to you in perfect timing. There isn't anything you have to do. You don't have to try. You just have to trust and believe now. Knowing that the inspired action that you take will be met with the divine support of the universe. And You can release this vision, release this meditation on your own time, whenever you feel ready. Just feel the freedom of handing all of that over. Feel the freedom of that trust. Knowing that you don't have to do anything. That what you're doing is enough. And I really hope that this workshop was helpful to you. And I wish you nothing but the best through this really intense and exciting time. Feel free to revisit this workshop as many times as you feel called to. And make sure that you do those practices for your journal prompts, for what you wrote down. If you would like to release that, if you would like to not hold on to it, if you would like to practice that release, you can dispose of it properly and safely. My favorite way to do it is burning, but if you do not feel that you know how to do that safely, then just you can tear it up and bury it, you can flush it, you can do whatever feels good, destroy it in a way that feels right for you. But I encourage doing that with these types of questions because it's not something we want to carry around, and it's a really good practice of surrendering. But I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. I'm so thankful for your donations. I'm thankful for your presence. If you do want a one-on-one session, I have a promo code that is good until the end of April, and the promo code is SPRING22, and it's in all caps, and you can receive a little special offer for any sessions with me. If you're interested in any of that, everything is through my website and you can find that. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on YouTube, subscribe to my channel. Thank you for being here, and I'm so grateful, but I wish you nothing but the best with this energy.